Welcome, Thunderbird Nation, to the Thunderbird Coaches Show. I'll be your host this fine Monday morning. I'm here with DeLane Fitzgerald, your Thunderbird football coach, and appearing courtesy of Visit Cedar City, Brian Head, is our student athlete this week, Mark Bales. Welcome. Most welcome, gentlemen.
Morning, John. Thank you for having us.
Look, the season's officially kicked off. The T-Birds took a quick bus ride up I-15 to the state capitol and clashed with the University of the Utah Utes. Let's get a recap of the Utah Utes. Ladies and gentlemen, this recap is brought to you by Retro Fitness. Get your gym on. Get over to Retro Fitness and stay healthy. SUU Nation.
Two things. What is your definition of a quick bus ride?
Anything under 4 hours.
You see, for me, quick bus rides like from here to Parowan. That's quick. Yeah, 4 hours. Not that. Hey, after you just got the bag beat out of you, 4 hours home.
The 4 hours home seems long.
Yeah, Mark, did you think that was quick?
No.
Quick trip home. No, that's a long trip home. Get off a bus a little bit after 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, not quick. And the other thing is this show must be taking off. We went from one sponsor that we were having to beg, and now we're up to 3 sponsors. We've got the warehouse bar and kitchen. Yeah, before John tells y'all to come enjoy some cocktails, go enjoy some cocktails. Hey, good spot. Hey, love the warehouse, love Reggie. And then we got Cedar City, Brian Head, Student Spotlight of the Week.
That's right.
And now we've got Retro Fitness and
Coach,
my man Bevan. Bevan's jumped on board.
Bevan, yeah, that's right. You've got the community eating out of your hands. They want to come and help sponsor and be a part of Thunderbird football. That's a good thing, Coach.
Anybody eating out of my hands must have slept Thursday night. Must have went to bed early and slept all the way through the night.
Oh well, speaking of Thursday night, let's take a look at the Utah Utes SUU T-Birds game. Big time atmosphere, big time game. Opening of the Big 12 for the season. Obviously, we're not in the Big 12; they are, but they had Alex Smith there for the Ring of Honor. There's some good hype around the game. Give us a little just kind of insight to that pregame energy, and then let's take a look at the football game itself.
No, it's a good crowd. Hey, Thursday night, it gives the people in Salt Lake an opportunity to get lathered up, before kickoff. So they're a lot louder at 7 p.m. than they were at 11 a.m. the last time we played them.
That's right.
But we've had the unfortunate pleasure of playing them twice. They're top 10 team in the country. And the years that Cam Rising sits out and doesn't play, we don't seem to get them on the schedule those years. We get them when he is playing.
What's up with that?
Anyway, hey, if he wasn't a Heisman Trophy candidate, he's a Heisman Trophy candidate now.
Oh, boy.
We made him one on Thursday night by not covering anybody. But, John, the atmosphere was good. It's not a whole lot of fun for anybody involved, coaches and players, but I do think it is a huge learning experience for our young men to go in and have 55,000 people yell at them negatively. I think it's good for character development.
Yeah, great.
I'm being serious about that.
No, yeah, dead serious.
Yeah, I think the adversity that we faced on Thursday night is not only good for our football program, but I think it's good for the young men going forward.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of programs that, I don't know, there's a lot of different ways to learn how to swim. My dad threw me in the deep end, and I figured it out. Some people wade you in ankle deep and then knee deep. Y'all jumped in the deep end Thursday night, and I feel – we'll talk about it, but I feel like there's lessons to be learned, and the future actually is quite bright for the Thunderbirds. Let's talk about the game itself. Offense and defense. What did the Utah Utes present to us defensively? We took the ball first, got some positive yards, even got a first down. I mean, we were moving the ball pretty decent there. Yeah. What did they show us defensively there, Coach?
John, let's look more at what we did and how the game went, and then move on with our lives.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to recap Utah's scouting report on offense and defense. Hey, you're right. We took the opening kickoff. We got a couple of first downs. Utah is the biggest physical defense that we're going to see all year. I laughed here at Mark. Mark lined up on our numbers early on in the game, and guys, Mark is every bit of 6'3.5", maybe touching 6'4" with the hair, but he lines up. And their corner that's guarding him could eat a bowl of soup off the top of his head. Never in my career have I had a 6'4" receiver line up against the corner, and the corner's looking down at him like it's his little brother. But they've got a 6'5", 6'6" corner that's pretty impressive looking. But just big, strong, physical defense, John. That well coached. Morgan's done a nice job there for a long time as their defensive coordinator. Coach Witt's been fortunate to keep him around all these years, but just sound defensively, and boy, they're big and physical, and they play really hard, and they play together. They understand the scheme.
Yeah.
Flip over on offense, and we knew they were going to try to get the quarterback going early, and again. Cam Rising is one of the best quarterbacks in the country, if he's not the best in the country, and that they got him going early. You want a surprise out of them offensively. Not as dynamic at wide receiver. Everybody had talked about this was the best wide receiver core they'd ever had. I still think they have a little something to be desired there. They got some kids that are talented. I think over the next couple of weeks they'll get better at receiver for them. And then John, the other biggest surprise is they let him get hit. So
first play of the game, he got planted.
We got a hit on him the first play. You'd hoped that it had rattled him. You know, he's 29 years old. You're not going to rattle him playing college football, I don't guess. But they let him scramble. They let him scramble and take some hits, and maybe that was part of their coaching staff's plan. If it was good because he got out of there healthy.
Yeah.
You know, let him get some hits, let him get used to playing football again after sitting out a year. But that was a little bit of a surprise. And then on special teams, not the most talented special teams that I've seen, but maybe the most well coached and the most sound, just really, really sound in their special team scheme. And that's the recap of Thursday night.
Yeah. As far as Cam Rising goes, do you think Cam was the one trying to mix it up, or were the coaches like, get down?
Never saw it and looked. I looked to see if they were. I've seen
maybe that's part of the game.
I've seen offensive coordinators and head coaches. And you never go into a game plan with part of the game plan being the quarterback scrambles.
Yeah.
Especially not the kid that's had several injuries.
Sure.
You know, that's not the game plan. But I looked over on the sideline at a coach that was telling him to get down or not take hits, and it never happened. He kept scrambling, took some hits. Hey, good for him. Good for them.
Yeah, I asked a couple people that were watching at home. I said, "Hey, could you see their size? Because on the sideline, I'm not kidding you. It was like, I mean, I've been to NFL games, and it was like looking at an NFL team size-wise. I mean, they were gigantic. Good for them. Whatever. Let's talk about.
They're a national title contender. Yeah. We saw the one defensive lineman that was a big-time transfer for them in the portal. Saw him go down with a knee injury on our sideline. Yeah. And I was told that one of their talk shows up there had said this weekend that he's out for the season, and one other defensive player's out for the season. So you know, hate to see that.
Yeah.
You hate to see it, and the one is non-contact, so he's on his own, just kind of plans to stop, and his knee goes.
Yeah. And
I didn't see the other one. But if that's the case, that could hurt them long term.
Yeah.
John, national title contender. Glad we're done with it, and let's move on.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm sick of kissing Utah's butt. Let's move on and talk about the T-Birds. What were some bright spots? I mean, there were a few things that we did well in that game. There were a few players. Obviously, Mark Bales is here. What did the T-Birds do?
You're having a hard time letting go of that game, aren't you?
No, I just it would be a disservice if we didn't highlight
John,
our players.
We could cut the cord and move to the next. But this young man standing beside me played well. Had 2 or 3 catches. We got a clean one. He had a catch on a penalty where he thought he was still playing Division II and tried to cut it all the way back across the field. We got to teach him that the fastest way from point A to point B is a straight line. So we're getting that. But Mark played well. Blocked really, really hard on Thursday night. Had some good catches. Going to continue to be a focal point of our offense. Target Lamson running the ball what was a positive and ran the ball well and deserves some credit for that. Thought Jackson Berry managed the offense early on well, and he's doing well and had another good day of practice yesterday, so we're excited about that, John. And then we had some positive points up front. That there were times when 3 out of our 5 offensive linemen were physical, just being physical at the point of attack, and pass pro also. They were pretty good, and we like that. We flip over on defense, and we've got some things to fix coverage-wise, and anybody that watches our game understands lanes. We've got to fix some coverage issues. But I thought we played physical up front. Thought our front seven was physical against their run game. They had a hard time getting a whole lot going in the run game against us. Our defensive ends played better than and I expect everybody to play well, but they played better than I thought they would. And you know, that's without our returning defensive end playing on Thursday night. We get him back this week, and we're excited about that. But got some positive things going on at defensive end that we like. And that's about it. We've got special teams got things to clean up.
Yeah, when the coverage is good, we turned them over twice. I mean, we had 2 interceptions, I believe. And some people, when they're in the right place at the right time,
John,
they're really physical.
Those are gimmies. Those were gimmies and just bad throws by a freshman quarterback that shouldn't have been thrown, but those are gimmies. And if you're looking at one of the negatives, our chance to win last Thursday night was to beat them by 3 or more in a turnover battle. Mm-hmm. We had the opportunity at 5 turnovers. We came up with 2. We have to capitalize more on the turnovers. But statistic-wise, the only statistic we won on Thursday night was we won the turnover battle 2-1, but we needed to win that thing 4-1 or 5-2 to have a chance in the game.
Yeah. All right. The cord is officially cut on the University of Utah. We'll rip the rear view mirrors off and look through the windshield forward from here on out. Speaking of looking forward and being optimistic, Mark Bales is here courtesy of Visit Cedar City and Brian Head. He is the Visit Cedar City and Brian Head Student Spotlight. Mark Bales, welcome. I'm going to ask you a few questions, get to know you a little bit. First, let's talk about where's home. Give us the lay of the land of home and then how you got here to Cedar City, Utah.
Home for me is Raleigh, New Jersey. I entered a transfer portal, and I ended up here at Cedar City.
Yeah. Where were you at? What school?
I was at Seton Hill, Division II, Pennsylvania.
Seton Hill, okay.
Yeah.
In Pennsylvania. And you hit the portal. Were we the only offer? What was exciting? Why were you excited to come to SU play for Fitz?
I had a few offers. Akron had reached out, Gardner Webb, and NAU, and then Southern Utah. I decided to come to Southern Utah. I liked the coaches. There was a lot of East Coast coaches over here,
That's
DMV
right.
area. I felt like home on the visit.
Excellent. You're a grad transfer. Tell us a bit about your academics. Where did you graduate in?
I graduated with criminal justice, my bachelor's.
Okay. And the criminal justice degree, outside of football, do you have aspirations of going into law enforcement, or why did you pick criminal justice?
I actually want to be a state trooper. Always want to be a cop. It's kind of strange because like the background is like, why would he want to be a cop? But yeah, I feel like I can make a big impact in that world.
That's cool. Yeah, I love that. I will say this. I've been watching you as you've come into Cedar City. The teammates that you have look up to you. I feel like you're a leader already. What was it like to be on a team, transfer into a new team, and what did you do to kind of like, I don't know, get the trust of your fellow teammates?
I mean, growing up, I was just always told to be myself, and that's probably what it was. I just came in, been myself, and make plays. I feel like if you're not a playmaker, no one's going to look up to you or respect you.
Okay.
So I just came in, put my head down, and just been a player.
Work.
That last part, Mark's one of the first to show up, one of the last to leave. Mark shows up and gives everything. On and off the field, you're getting everything he's got. Yeah, and it makes it easy for his teammates to respect him.
Yeah, I mean, respect is earned, and you earn it every day when you're doing what you're supposed to at the highest level that you can achieve it. I've seen him in the weight room, seen him on the field. The guy gets it. And that leads me to my next question. You're on NFL watch lists, draft diamonds, all kind of stuff like that. We've got NFL scouts coming to Cedar City to check out the seniors. Man, how cool is that? Like you've been doing this. For those that don't know, playing college football is no joke. It's a full-time job. It is hours and hours and hours of time working on your craft and your body and learning football. How nice is it to be recognized on those lists?
It feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels real good.
That's good. Coach is like, you better not expound on that. Awesome. What's the favorite thing? Now we have some East Coast coaches from your neck of the woods. What do you think? What's your favorite either quote or lesson that you've learned from DeLane Fitzgerald here sitting next to you? You got a favorite quote that you can repeat on the air?
Oh man, there's so many. I mean,
that you can repeat, Sakit.
One or two. I mean, whatever. You know how to choose one, but I know there's got to be something that sticks out in your mind.
Well, it's not really one that people really want to hear, but it's just like one thing he said is like, you haven't really done anything yet. You got to prove yourself, and that just sticks with me every day. It just feels like not like an underdog, but it's like there's more to do. Like he wants the most out of you at all times. Like we got thing in practice like big plays. Like if it didn't make ESPN, it's not a big play to him. So it's like always push yourself to do more.
Yeah,
and that's what I like about him, and he's very real about that. Like regardless who you are, you can be the best player on the team. He doesn't care. Push, do more.
Yep.
And that's what just keeps me motivated. Like that toughness, that hard love. Like, yeah, you're a good player, but do more.
Toughness and hard love. I think that pretty much explains and describes our head coach. Man, thanks for being here. We'll have some more questions for you, but we really appreciate you. Coming to Cedar City, transferring to Thunderbird football, and then B, for your output and your being and your leadership here on the team. So appreciate you coming. That's Mark Bales, the Cedar City Brian Head Spotlight. Coach, we got another segment. We're excited to again put Utah in the background. We're looking forward to week 2. The UTEP Miners are on the schedule. Let's do a little preview of the UTEP Miners. This is sponsored by the Warehouse Bar Plus Kitchen. Go down, get you some delicious food, and relax at the Warehouse Bar Plus Kitchen. Let's talk a little bit about the UTEP Miners, Coach. Let's talk about offense first. What are they going to show us? And maybe some key players to watch.
Yeah, John, first year head coach there, first year coaching staff. But for all of us, it doesn't seem like that because it's the head coach and the coaching staff from Austin Peay last year. Had a good game at home against them last year. There won't be a ton of surprises. You know, we know what to expect from them. They know what to expect from us. Good coaching staff, and they work well together and they get things done. And as they're at a program, the program gets better. So there's some similarities there to our football program and our coaching staff that we liked. You asked about them on offense.
Yeah.
They're multiple spread. And you can see some of Chip Kelly's old tempo stuff coming out in there, and they're hurry up, and they're trying to run a lot of plays, and they play pretty fast. And then there's a Gus Malzahn influence in there with what they're doing on offense. But they play, and if you give them a first down, then they get the tempo ramped up, and they just play really, really fast. They mix it up, run, pass really well. The head coach lets the quarterback run the football. And, John, they're an FBS program. You know, they're running around with 85 scholarships.
Sure.
They've got good football players.
They did bring in, 49 transfers, something like that. They're a rebuild, obviously a brand new coach, Austin Peay, who won the conference last year.
Yeah. It's hard to call it a rebuild. It's a build. What? Re means that at once upon a time they were good. So somebody got to tell me what year that was.
It ain't about rebuilding because you got to build it in the first place. Is what you're saying.
Coach Waldron and his staff are building a football program.
Yeah, he's got a lot of energy. That guy, he almost looks like a player on the sideline. He's jumping around and getting after it. He's definitely one that gives energy.
Good guy, good football coach.
Yeah, absolutely. Players that we need to watch on UTEP's offense. Do you have a little scouting report for them?
Yeah, they rotated quarterbacks, but the starter, I think he's got a chance to be pretty good. John, they got the tailback. They have the Jackson kid from Austin Peay, who was a first team all conference tailback in our conference last year, and he's playing tailback for them and a good football player. They'll use him a little more this week than they did last week. And then at the wide receiver positions, you got to forgive me for not knowing names, but number 1 is a good receiver. Number 5 is a good football player for them. At the skill positions, they may run a little better than Utah does.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So they got some speed.
Left tackle's the best offensive lineman up front.
They're not 6'6", but they run.
No, they're good. They're good up front. Left tackle's the best player up front, and he's an Austin Peay transfer.
Awesome. Let's flip it on defense and give us the how do they play, what are their schemes, and a few other guys to look at.
Yeah, it's an odd front. Defensive coordinator does a nice job of mixing up the odd and even, but he's base odd, and then they get into some even there. Last year they were about 70% odd. On Saturday against Nebraska, they were only about 60%. I expect that percentage to go back closer to 73% against us. The players on defense is at 41, transfer middle linebacker from Tulsa. He had 16 tackles on Saturday, and that's impressive. But ran around, made some plays, did well. Number 6, who's a transfer from Austin Peay and was one of Austin Peay's best defensive players last year. Well, he's one of UTEP's best defensive players this year, but good little football player, runs around. He's aggressive, physical, makes a bunch of plays at that jack backer position. He's a combination linebacker, DB for them, does a nice job. Number 1 ran around on the field, our returning corner for UTEP, and he was at UTEP last year. Just a physical corner, aggressive, trying to make plays. I like that style in him. And then number 0. Number 0 is their best returning player from last year at UTEP, and he led them in sacks and tackles for loss. But a lot of energy, plays really, really hard. John runs to the football.
So yeah, I agree with everything you said. Obviously, you know the game a little better than I do. I noticed when they played Nebraska, they really run to the football on offense and defense. There's a lot of effort, and like you said, they're pretty fast.
It's a sign of a well-coached team.
Sure.
And John, they run well.
Yeah. What are some things that we need to clean up and focus on going into UTEP? What are the keys to success? Maybe not schematically, but what are some things that we need to clean up so we can have some success down there at UTEP? Yeah,
it's pretty plain and simple. Our football program usually executes, and we usually don't shoot ourselves in the foot. We did both last Thursday night. You could use the cop out that the crowd calls some of it, and I'm sure it did cause a little bit of it. But good football teams don't jump off sides. Good false starts, the stupid holding penalties on offense. We've got to execute better on the offensive and defensive side of the football, and special teams. We've got to execute better in all 3 phases, and then we can't shoot ourselves in the foot. You can't have foolish penalties. You can't turn the football over. Things we did the other night that we normally don't do.
Yeah, when it's go time, it's go time every play, but the reality is when it's 3rd and 2, man, you got to execute. It kills drives.
2 false starts, 3rd and 2 false starts, make it 3rd and 7.
That's right.
3rd and 2 is easily attainable. 3rd and 7, not so easy.
Yeah. Man. Anything else you want to talk about UTEP or things that we're going to improve on going into there? Focusing from the coaching aspect.
John, I have to do a better job coaching this football team. I have to be a better football coach than I was last week, much better than I've been the last couple of weeks for us to have any opportunity at success this weekend. But, I mean, everybody likes the schedule. We'll get up Friday morning, fly to El Paso. I've heard that it's a phenomenal place. Vacation destination. Maybe we'll lie Friday evening. We'll lie in the beach chairs and overlook Juarez. Heard that's a beautiful city also.
Oh man.
We're gonna land in El Paso just after lunch, and we'll get some food and we'll get a walk through, and then we'll have some more food. The thing about trips is you eat really, really well, right?
Yes, sir.
Food's pretty good. Right. I don't ever want to do the Utah deal again, but if you told me a Rodizio grill like multiple days, you might be able to talk me into it.
Talk you into it just on the food alone.
How about that place? Oof.
This is a
let me finish with the itinerary if you don't mind.
Got you all excited about the Rodizio.
I know you're excited.
Yeah.
You're excited. We'll eat a couple times, get a walkthrough and a meeting stuff on Friday, get to bed. We'll get up on Saturday and eat well again, and we'll get a walkthrough and another meeting in, and then go over to the stadium and play ball.
Awesome. My question was heat. El Paso, in early September is a warm place. Is there anything additional?
I've got kickoff. Yeah, we've got to hydrate a little bit better, but I've got kickoff at 90 degrees. The humidity in El Paso is not the humidity that Houston and San Antonio and some of them get, so it's a little different that way. John, the weather's not going to be a factor in the way we play.
Okay.
Huge stadium. huge stadium, and they'll have 25,000 people in a stadium that seats 52,000. But that we'll be able to handle the crowd after last week.
I think so. Yeah, like you said, going up to Utah, playing in front of 55,000 people is a learning moment, and you guys from here on out are probably not going to have 60,000 people screaming in your ear. You'll be used to that feeling.
Who knows? Might get on a run, get the people of Cedar excited.
60,000.
Yeah.
Every woman, man, and child to be at Eccles Coliseum watching the T-Birds.
Everybody in Iron County, Utah at the ball game.
I love it. Coach, any last thoughts, or Mark, do you have any last thoughts? Mark first. Shout outs for people back home.
You got to say hi to mom and dad. You got to say their full name. You can't just say mom, dad.
So my mom, Linda Bales, my dad, Mark Bales, and my sister, Neosha Bales.
Neosha.
Yeah.
Nice. Coach, what about you? Anybody that you want to highlight before we wrap?
Yeah, last Thursday, great to see our alumni. Was able to have an alumni luncheon and see those guys. Always good to see those guys, Rick Robbins and the crew.
Yeah.
And then the alums that were at the game. It was good to see them. Got to spend some time with old players of mine, Bronson Mullen, who was great to see him. Got to see Darren Rolfe, Kevin Rolfe. I'm glad they were at the game. I'm leaving out somebody, but all those things are Mike Allen. Yeah, all those things are positive. Jeff Rudy's assistant AD at Utah, and he's a loud, proud alumni of our university, and good to see Jeff. And then my man Will Snowden, got to give Will Snowden a hug and get a quick picture. But before the game started, and all that was good. John, I want to get this show over, and I want to get back to watching film and get prepared for this week.
Fair. Look, I think we'll just end it right there. We've got UTEP minors coming up Friday afternoon.
I tell him I want out of here, Mark, and he just keeps talking.
I mean, you got to rap. You got to say hello. It's called a rap, Coach. We'll get you educated on how this works. Ladies and gentlemen, for Mark Bales and for DeLane Fitzgerald, I'm Jon Smith signing off. Go T-Birds.
Go Thunderbirds.